Hey there crafters, this is Sandy McManus with NeedsARibbon, and I am here to bring you part 2 of my Toolbox Bring Your Own Adhesive series, where this issue is called Let's Stick Together, where we're going to go over some basic adhesives that Stampin' Up! Carries that I feel every crafter should have in their toolbox, in their arsenal as it were. And those are the green glue, as I call it, the Tombow Mono Liquid Glue, Multi-Adhesive Glue, Mini Glue Dots, Snail, the mono adhesive, and Dimensionals, not in its original package. Anyway, let's go over what the different types are and what they do. Okay, Snail, or mono tape by other brands, is by far the least expensive per inch outside of a glue for adhesive and is the easiest to use of any of the tape adhesives. The best part is the holder and handle is refillable and fixable too. It's acid free, so it's safe for archival projects like scrapbook pages or project life books or any other framed works or other paper crafts. It's double-sided and breaks off in the dispenser strip very easy. Snail is quick to work with and a quick to snap and refill, as you saw. The disadvantages to Snail, it's not a very strong adhesive bond, and it's best left for paper-to-paper application or some other lightweight applications. I have used it on ribbon and buttons and other embellishments, but if your projects get handled a lot or might get bumped or mailed, it's best to stick with something else for some of those parts of your project. It's also great for photographs, as they're, photographs when you print them are paper-backed, and also because the tape is acid-free, that makes it another bonus. Snail really isn't repositionable, which is another what I call disadvantage. Okay, so let me show you how Snail works real quick. I am not building a finished project. I just grabbed some scraps to show you how this goes. So you just pull it along. Best to place your thumb here, your forefinger here. Position it such that this part is upright, and you just pull. And it just snaps right off. Pull and snap. Pull and snap. And that's it. And then I usually pick it up by the sticky stuff and put it down. And that's it. Very easy to use. Okay, so we're building a very odd card because, again, I just grabbed scraps. Green glue, as many people call it by its nickname, can be used for paper to paper, as Snail can, gluing on embellishments, gluing on ribbon. There is a risk of it bleeding through on ribbon, especially if your ribbon is like porous, like burlap ribbons and stuff. And really, it's good at holding just about anything together. It's strong, not a super strong bond, but a strong bond, and it too is acid free, making it safe for scrapbooking, project life. And because it's strong, you don't need a lot to hold down your items. Sorry. I personally have gone to green glue for most of my cards because it is, I don't know how many quote-unquote inches you get, but at, I think it's around $4 a bottle, I can get a lot of gluing done with this. And that also makes it good for me in a classroom setting. Like when I'm making a lot of swaps. It dries fairly quickly, and that means you can continue. You don't have to necessarily set aside your stuff to dry. Whereas I have had Snail let loose in the summer heat and humidity of Minnesota on some of my layers. That kind of makes me wary of it. And nothing against Snail. I think Snail is a fantastic product, and everybody should have it. But again, right adhesive for your project. Green glue is repositionable until it dries, which has another advantage for me, and you will see why in a minute. Disadvantages is it does take a little bit of time to dry, maybe a half hour, something like that, and it just depends on how much you use and the heat and humidity and all of that. I have used the heat setting on my space heater, and it does not speed it up as you think it would. It just seems to need to air dry. So this is the disadvantage if you're making like a multi-layered bouquet, putting together flowers. This may not be the best glue for that. There are other options. So let's see how it works. So we have a narrow tip and we have a wide tip, which reminds me of the old rubber cement mucilage things. I don't really ever use that because I don't need that big of application. And you can see how tiny a strip I'm putting down. And I go almost to the edge of my paper, not all the way. And here is why, you'll see. Now, better make sure everything is facing the right way. Because when you squish it down, it is going to bleed. And see what I mean about repositionable? I can slide it around until I get it just in the place I want. Then I press, and then you still have a little bit of wiggle room, but not a lot. So again, there's your green glue. Next is dimensionals. I have used these and ordered them so much I know the item number 104430. Isn't that funny? And they're $4. 300 dimensionals. And the one thing I love, they are double-sided foam adhesive, whatever you want to call them, double-sided foam adhesive. There are other manufacturers out there, but what I like about Stampin' Ups, not that I'd use another product, but you see how they're cut? There is absolutely no waste at all. I even have used the strips for various things. I would call dimensionals a medium hold, medium bond. The advantage is that they add a little height. If you can kind of see that. They add a little height. They can be good for a lot of things. Again, the disadvantage is they're not super strong. They are archival safe, I believe. Suddenly I don't know that. But honestly, costing them out even after tax and shipping, they're about 2 cents a piece. So really, go nuts with these. 300, they'll last you a while. So how you place them, and I'll have more information on my website too. You just grab them, put them down, and a little trick I learned a long time ago is stick your thumbnail, and that releases that waxy paper back. And really for a general layer, 4, I'm only using 4 on this because the layer is pretty small, but you might want 5 in the middle to kind of support that. 5, put 1 in the middle. And we'll put this down. My scrap project. It's actually turning out kind of cute. So that's it, and you can see it gives you a little bit of height. You want even more height, double them up. So that's it on dimensionals. And the final one we're going to go over is glue dots. And hold on a minute. I actually have some notes. Sorry. Dimensionals, glue dots. Mini glue dots are another quick and easy and inexpensive way to hold down a flower, an embellishment or whatever. You probably don't want to use it on paper layers. That would be kind of a pain because you'd need a fair amount to hold it down. But they're good for little things. I would call them a medium hold. It's stronger than snail, but they can be removed, and we'll go over how you might be able to remove them at some point. I'd call them a semi-permanent bond. I wouldn't necessarily call them a permanent. The green glue, definitely permanent. Snail, we'll go with permanent because, yeah, it does, yeah, we'll go with permanent. These are great for holding down various things. Disadvantages are sometimes you need more than one. I'll call that a disadvantage. 2 or 3 if you have a bigger item. Not a deal breaker, but really just kind of fair warning on that. If you need a bond that is strong and more permanent, then pass on the dots. They work for average thing, and again, I feel you really need this in your toolbox. So how to use them is, and again, there'll be more information on my website. So how to use them, I don't try not to touch them. I touch the object to them and kind of pop it off and put it in place. And here's what I mean. My roll is getting kind of, it's a fairly empty box. And I've even been known to line up all my bows on a big strip and get them kind of prepped. I kind of picked this one off. Not. It's a weird looking card. Yeah, we'll put it in our hair. We'll call it that. But you can kind of roll them up to kind of hide them. That's another advantage to glue dots is, you know, they can be hidden fairly well. So that's it on going over the basic adhesives you need in your crafter's toolbox. Thanks for watching Toolbox Bring Your Own Adhesives series on Let's Stick It Together. And stay tuned for the next episode. NeedsARibbon.com. Be sure to like and subscribe for more.